जुगल किशोरा कालिंदीर कोले केळी कदंबेरव रस्तन बेडीरो पार बोसा बोधु जाना राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा श्याम गौरी अंगे दीपो चंदनी रगंधा चामार दुलाबो कबे हेरी मुख चंद्रा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा जीवने मरणे गति यारो नहीं मोरा गातिया मला तीरमाला विबोधोहर गाले आधारे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर तांबूले राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा जीवने मरणे गति यारो नहीं मोरा ललिता विशाखा जट सखी वृंदा अग्नाया कोरिबो सेवा चरणारविंदा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा जीवने मरणे गति यारो नहीं मोरा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेरानुदास सेवाभिलाषा कोरे नरोत्तमा दासा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा जीवने मरणे गति यारो नहीं मोरा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the opportunity. Pranams. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You could have continued Kirtan also, little bit. Let me just see.
No, Mataji, you continue, Mataji. You will sing.
Actually,
Hare
as Prabhuji joined, very beautifully sung, Mataji. So
Hare
nice.
Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hari bol. Beautiful.
Yes, Mataji, Prabhu has joined. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. You can welcome the Prabhu and Mataji. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Welcome to
Hare
the
Krishna.
ICF Forum, Prabhuji. Pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you once again. We are meeting. So before we do, you have finished all the prayers and all, Mataji, or you want to do that?
Prabhuji, Radha Madhav, we have not yet done, Prabhuji.
Okay, somebody can do that, or you want me to do?
Sugopi Mataji has joined, Prabhuji. She'll do the Kirtan every day. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Mataji,
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातिरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय श्रील गुरुदेव जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हरे कृष्णा पंचांग
Nice, Mataji. Nice tune. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji. Namaste.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखातमृत द्रव संयुतं पिबत भागवतरसमालयं मुकुरघोरसिका भुवि भावुकाः षण्मतां स्वगतः कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो हे अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् सर्वशास्त्राब्धिपीयूषा सर्ववेदैकषत्फला सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाद्या सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रता सर्वभागवतप्राणा श्रीमद्भागवतप्रभो कलिद्वन्द्वोदितादित्या श्रीकृष्णपरिवर्तिता परमानन्दपाताय प्रेमवर्षि अक्षरायते सर्वाद सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु मे मत् एकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरु मन्महादना मन्निष्ठारका मद्भाग्या मत् आनन्ता नमोऽस्तु ते असाधु साधुता दायिन् अतीनो चाताकराः नामुञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्ण हृत्कन्तयो स्फुरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna devotees, today we'll be reading from Canto 4, Chapter 6 and Slokas 6 to 15. So what we will do is, first I'll give a small brief about this chapter and then we can go all the verses one after another. Then I'll give a summary of the explanations. So the title of this particular chapter goes, Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. So Brahma is satisfying Lord Shiva. So there itself we can find out the glories of Brahmadev, because he is empowered incarnation of Lord Krishna. He is empowered incarnation for creation, and also he has been entrusted now exactly when the devas were representing that they are unable to perform that yajna because servants of Lord Shiva has completely disturbed the yajna. So all the devas were requesting that they wanted to continue that particular yajna. So an empowered servant of Lord Krishna has been assigned the task to satisfy another empowered servant of Lord Krishna. Both of them, Prabhupada is writing Satya Avesh Avatar. We all know that they are Guna avatars, right? But Prabhupada in the 8th canto, in one of the purport, he is writing they are Satya Avesh because they have specifically empowered for the task of creation and annihilation. So that is the greatness of Brahmadev, who is going to involve in this slokas, which we are going to see. So before that, let us understand why Lord Shiva's servants ransacked Daksha's yajna. So you must have seen that earlier, but let us have a small understanding why it was done. Basically, Daksha is very much envious of Lord Shiva. That's one of the main reasons which Prabhupada and many of the acharyas are writing in the scriptures, that the reason for Daksha's disrespecting Lord Shiva when Lord Shiva was there is because of the enviousness. That is the only reason. The main prime reason is the enmity between Lord Shiva and Daksha. Because of this enviousness, because Shiva is given a high position, because very rarely that Gunavatars managing the annihilation, that empowered task of annihilation. So he is very, very close with Lord Krishna, and he is having that an exalted position and being a great Vaishnava. So this Daksha is not able to understand. There may be very, very many reasons also acharyas are mentioning. Daksha is basically a puffed up sage, not a sage, a materialistic person who wanted to get a lot of glories. So he's very much puffed up, and he is not able to tolerate the high position of Lord Shiva. And also the appearance of Lord Shiva looks so sort of an ugly, and he thought with the outer exterior appearances of Lord Shiva, he feels that this man doesn't need. But actually, Lord Shiva is always on the meditation mood. Meditation mood means Purusha Buddhi Sakshinam. Purusha Buddhi Sakshinam means always he is using his intelligence, that he absorbs himself into the meditation of the Supreme Lord. All the time he does that. He doesn't imitate anybody. He doesn't follow anybody and all. Always he is keeping himself meditating. So when Daksha was entering into that Yagna arena, he was simply meditating, and he has not seen Daksha is entering. Intentionally, Shiva has not done that because he was meditating, because he is doing the ultimate personal, like ultimate, what do you say, that ultimate activity of a human being. He is meditating. So there is no need for him to just look around and give respects to some inferior personalities than the Supreme Personality. So he was completely doing on that meditation, and Daksha took it as a personal insult. And that is how this thing has happened. So he was completely insulted by Daksha. And subsequently, when Sati Devi, that is Sati Mata, Shiva's wife, understood, and she went. And in the yajna, generally the oblations are given to especially the demigods and all. So Shiva is one of the greatest. And Daksha failed to offer that oblations, and which is the greatest insult. So that Sati Devi took it as a great insult to his husband. And despite Lord Shiva was telling, no, you don't go, you will be insulted and all, but still she went there. And we all know that story, that she was again insulted there. And then subsequently, she has to destroy everything. And she committed like a harakiri. She just jumped into the fire, and she just left her body in that yagna. So when this was informed to Shiva, Lord Shiva, by Narada Muni, so Shiva was very much like sort of in the agitated mood. And he just stood up. He was meditating. He just stood up, and he just pulled one of the hair, and he just threw it in the floor with so much of disappointment, angry, agitation, and all. So from that hair, a very, very cruel demon called Veerabhadra appeared. So he was so tall. He was just touching the height. He's touching the sky, and Prabhupada is writing in the purport that is something like 10 times the brightness of the sun planet. So that much of light has come from Veerabhadra, the demon. And he, along with the servants of Lord Shiva, they went there. They went into the arena, and they completely destroyed everything. They were killing all the sages. And even it went up to the extent of they simply removed the head of Daksha. So, and that is how this particular yajna was totally disturbed. So this is the small background of this thing has happened there. And this chapter is coming there because they were unable to complete the yajna. the sacrificial fire, they need to complete. Then only whatever purpose it was ignited, it has to be finished. So all the devatas who were present there, they don't know how to approach, they don't know how to pacify Shiva, and thus they came to Brahmadev. So that is what this chapter is beginning. So with this small understanding, we are going to read the slokas. That is from sloka number 6 to 15. So I'll be reading the sloka, then you can keep reading the translation and purport. And wherever I wanted to explain the purport, I'll give a small brief, because these are all very small purports only. We don't have much about that. Overall, when we finish everything, then we will try to understand some 3-4 basic points from this 6-7 verses, what we should understand. So let me now go to the verses now. So reading from 4th canto, 6th chapter, sloka number 6. Asashana jeevitam adavarashya advarashya asashana jeevitam adavarashya lokasha palaha kupitena yashmin tam ashu devam priyaya vihinam shamapya advam kriti viddam duruktahe. And somebody wants to read, or we can directly go for translation and purport, because we have 9-10 verses. I'm not doing word to word translation, so better we can go for a translation.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
translation. Okay, Suma Mataji, you can call out the names, Mataji.
Mataji, I'll make you the host, Mataji. I'll just make you the host. Yes, Mataji, I'll call out the names. Yes, Mataji. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Brahma also advised them that Lord Shiva is so powerful that by his anger, all the planets and the chief controllers can be destroyed immediately. Also, he said that Lord Shiva was especially sorry because he had recently lost his dear wife and was also very much afflicted by the unkind words of Daksha. Under the circumstances, Lord Brahma suggested it would behoove them to go at once and beg his pardon. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
So Yashmin Kupite. Yashmin Kupite means he is in angry mood. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing. So I'll be giving a brief for some of the verses only, because when I was reading it, some of the points attracted me. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing the reason for revival of sacrifice, because you have started something and it has to be finished. So what is the reason for them to beg Lord Shiva that he is writing? Because the things which has happened there, and Daksha's insult and death of Shati Mata, so all these things have made Shiva has not shown any agitation after all these things, but he was in a very sort of a mood which everybody was very much afraid to approach him to take his pardon or to take the forgiveness, all these things. So that is what he is telling. Yashmin Kupite is when he is angry, he is actually a person who is protecting as well as he is an annihilator. Protecting in the sense, those people who are in the Tamo Guna, so without Lord Shiva's mercy, they cannot move into the Sattvic. So it is a sort of a protection, right? Because you need to upgrade yourself from a bad qualities to a better quality. So in that way, he is considered as a person who is protecting. He will no longer exist, in the sense, if he is in that much of anger and all, they were all afraid. Maybe he may not be completely involved in that empowered responsibility of Lord Krishna. That is, Narayana has empowered him for so many things, right? So they wanted him by reviving that sacrifice. So what is the reason for getting a pardon? That is, go and beg. Why to beg? Because he is in charge of annihilation. And when he is in charge of annihilation, this power was given by Vishnu. That is protection. Protection means pardon. Somebody has to protect means you have to make them always, like in a good books, you should not be having a dual personality. No, it is your job. You simply do whatever you want. I have these things. It is like we are completely surrendering to a person who is entrusted with the super qualities and having a super responsibility. Similarly, Brahma was empowered for creation. Shiva is empowered for annihilation. And this both is, they are sort of an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, sort of a guna avatars. Because Krishna, that is Narayana, has given them So that is what Prabhupada is giving as Satya Avesha Avatar, this responsibility for particular responsibility. They cannot perform any big leelas or something like that. So all these things. So as a protector, Shiva, we all might have seen in many of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, that is Narayana, he has come and he has involved himself so that at the instruction of Narayana, that he has been involved himself in the protection of devotees. So this special power of Vishnu, that is, he has given, and that has been taken care by this person. So such a highly qualified Lord Shiva, because he is one of the Ishwaras or controllers, like I told, Satya Avesha Avatar. So they are addressed here as the super personalities, and we need to take their forgiveness. So that is the reason Devatas have approached Brahma, that we need to take the forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So with that understanding, we'll be moving into the next sloka, sloka number 7. Naham na yajno na chayuyam anye ye deha bhajo munayascha tattvam vidu pramanam bhala viryayurva yashyatma tantrasya ka upayam viditset.
Hare Krishna. Anusuya Mataji, you can read the translation. Sudha Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma said that no one, not even himself, Indra, all the members assembled in the sacrificial arena or all the sages could know how powerful Lord Shiva is. Under the circumstances, who would dare to commit an offense at his lotus feet? Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Purport somebody is reading, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sudha Mataji, you can read the purport, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the purport, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Danvat Pranam, Prabhu. After Lord Brahma advised the demigods to go to Lord Shiva and beg his pardon, it was suggested how he should be satisfied and how the matter should be placed before him. Brahma also asserted that none of the conditioned souls, including himself and all the demigods, could know how to satisfy Lord Shiva. But he said, it is known that he is very easily satisfied, so let us try to satisfy him by falling at his lotus feet. Actually, the position of the subordinate is always to surrender to the Supreme. That is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord asks everyone to give up all kinds of concocted occupations and simply surrender unto him. That will protect the conditioned souls from all sinful reactions. Similarly, in this case, Brahma also suggested that they go and surrender unto the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, for since he is very kind and easily satisfied, this action would prove effective. Thank you, Mataji. Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, important thing which we are trying to understand from this purport is the position of the subordinate is always to surrender to the Supreme. So in Bhagavad Gita, so that is what Prabhupada is mentioning in this particular purport. Surrendering, that means you have to surrender to the Supreme. So a servant means a subordinate, right? That means you are subordinate to somebody. That is a very, very important thing in everybody's life also, and especially for a devotee's life. Unless we become subservient of the Supreme, unless we become servant of Lord Krishna, Prabhupada writes, then we become servant of the dog. Nowadays, the dog culture is very, very high in the society. They spend so much of time in managing their dog. They have completely surrendered. They fail to understand dogs are expected to be the servant to the masters, right? They need to protect and everything. But unfortunately, in the modern society, it becomes that the masters are becoming, the persons are becoming servant of the dog. And they take so much of time. Maybe the reason I was just thinking about why so much of thing. When I moved to my present community in Chennai in 2020, I saw hardly 1 or 2 dogs in the community in the morning. But today I am seeing after 4 years, something like 25 to 30 pairs of dogs, everybody, all the family members in the morning walking time, they take the dogs and they go. So this much of maybe you can say love and affection has moved towards an animal. Maybe the real love they are missing from their family members, or they wanted to completely show their love to a person who is not at all like protesting, and dogs are naturally very lovable and they are so much showing their affection. They reciprocate their love. So that is the way it becomes now the society. That's what Prabhupada is writing. If you don't show your love and you don't become a servant of Lord Krishna, then you have to forcibly become servant of the dog. So an intelligent person, that's what he wants. An intelligent person have to become servant. Why not Krishna's servant? By nature, we are all servant, right? Servant to so many things. If I remain a servant for Maya, Kamadinam Katida. Maya means sense gratification. You become servant for your sense gratification. How I will satisfy this urge of my senses? How I am going to satisfy the urge of my this particular sense object, senses? So we become servants to those things. Maybe as a husband becomes a servant to the wife, to the family, to the children. Similarly, wife becomes servant of the family members, the elders, or husband, and so many things are happening. So that is the thing he is telling. Kamadin kati na katita palita durnidesha. The servant, our role of servant become to satisfy the lust, greediness, kama, krodha, moha, madam, ashtarya, we are telling, right? So you need to completely come out from all those things and you have to surrender. That is the importance of understanding. So here Brahmadev says, unless you people surrender, go and beg. So the Yajnapatis, when they were offering, they should have offered everything to Shiva also as part of one of the super demigods. But unfortunately, these things has not happened. So Brahmadev says, yes, we all have to go and we have to go and take the forgiveness of Lord Shiva. Then only things can happen properly. So with that understanding, we will be moving into the next sloka. I think sloka number 8. Shayitiham adishya shuran ajashtu taiha shamanvitaha pitrubisa prajeshai Yayaushva Dishyan Nilayam Pura Dvishaha Kailasham Adri Pravaram Priyam Prabhoha.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Shobha Chennai Mataji. You can read the purport as well, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Since it's very small.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhujis and Matajis. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After thus instructing all the demigods, the Pitas and the lords of the living entity, Lord Brahma took them with him and left from the abode of Lord Shiva, known as the Kailasha hill. Purport. The abode of Lord Shiva, which is known as Kailasa, is described in the 14th verses which follows. Haribol, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
So from this particular thing, we don't have much, but we need to understand about the glories of Brahmadev. So Brahmadev is a position given by the Supreme Personality. And a person who executes, Prabhupada writes a definition, what is a Brahmadev? A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 lifetime, that means 100 birth. If somebody is perfectly doing, then they become eligible to occupy the post of Brahmadev. So Brahmadev is a post only. So for selecting that, maybe you wanted to appoint a managing director for the company, so you put a lot of requirements to select to manage that big company. So these universal activities, this universal company has to be selected, right? So this is the quality. Occupational duty means one of the qualities in the occupational duties is how much compassion you are showing towards everybody. How much tolerance you are showing to everybody. Despite Brahmadev has not participated in destroying that yajna, but still he has accepted to come along with the demigods to meet Shiva so that the forgiveness can be taken. So this clearly shows the compassion mood of Brahmadev, and he has agreed to take all the demigods to the Supreme Personality. That means to Shiva's palace, Kailasha. So we'll be trying to understand about the beauty of Kailasha from subsequent verses. So sloka number 9. Janmaushadi tapo mantra yoga shiddhair naretaraiha jashtam kinnara gandharvair apsharobir vritam sada. Text 9.
Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The abode known as Kailasa is full of different herbs and vegetables, and it is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. Thus, the residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there are other human beings who are known as Kinnaras and Gandharvas and are accompanied by their beautiful wives, who are known as Apsaras or angels. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is writing, Prabhupada has not given much purport for this. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is writing about the glories of Kailasha. This place is always filled with persons perfected in yoga. Not very easily you can go and, okay, I am a Shiva worshipper, let me go and enjoy. He's in mode of sort of an ignorance. So I also wanted to be ignorance. I cannot be in mode of goodness. It's very difficult for me to practice Hare Krishna. All the niyamas and all difficult for me. Let me be in ignorance or not. It's nothing like that. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura writes that even to reach the Kailasha, even to be the inhabitant of Kailasha, you need to be perfected in yoga. Yoga means we all know that, right? It is how difficult it is. You need to reach the level of a Samadhi, the last stage of the Ashtanga Yoga. Samadhi means you need to completely absorb in focusing and meditating on the Supreme Lord. So that type of practice needed. So you need to be perfected in yoga, mantra, austerity, herbs, and by birth and all those things. You need a lot of pre-qualification even to enter the Kailasha. So that is what the understanding. So this Kailasha is filled with Devatas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, and Apsaras. So all these people are not like a normal human being. So not that it is easy for us, so that let us also pray with Shiva and we will reach there and all. So that should not be the thinking about this Kailasha. Kailasha is not an ordinary place. How Lord Shiva is considered as the greatest Vaishnavas. Similarly, his residing place is also perfected in so many things, and it is so attractive, so beautiful, which in the following we are going to understand. Sloka number 10, let me read. Nana manimayai shrinkai, nana dhatu vijitritai, nana druma lata gulmair, nana mrika ganavritai.
Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna. You can read the translation, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kailasha is full of mountains filled with all kinds of valuable jewels and minerals and surrounded by all varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of the hill is nicely decorated by various types of deer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we don't have much in the purport section because it's only an explanation of how beautifully Kailasha is arranged and all. So sloka number 11. Nana mala prasharvanai nana kantara shranubiha ramanam viharantinam ramanai shiddha yoshitam.
Hare Krishna. Shobha Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many waterfalls, and in the mountains there are many beautiful caves in which the very beautiful wives of the mystics are found. Thank you Mataji, thank you Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So sloka number 12, nai. Mayura keka birutham madanantali vimurshitam plavitai raktakantanam Pujitaischa patatrinam.
Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read the translation, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Prabhuji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. On Kailasha Hill, there is always the rhythmical sound of the peacock's sweet vibrations and the bees humming. Cuckoos are always singing, and other birds whisper among themselves. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So just a small, some of the acharyas are they are writing about how the peacocks, that Abhi, wherever they see peacocks, you all have heard about peacocks noise, right? It is not so sweet. Despite it looks so beautiful with so colorful of feathers and all, when it opens its mouth, it makes some sounds. It's very ugly sound. So for that, he is writing, acharyas are writing, it is like a noise of householders, when 10, 15 people in the family, they sit and discuss for some topic, there will be a different opinions will be there, right? So when everybody starts talking, or everybody is objecting, or everybody is telling like that, how the noise used to be there. So acharyas are comparing like that. So the peacocks, so many peacocks, simultaneously they are shouting, simultaneously they are giving sound, which looks like group of householders talking. And similarly, the bees, which they are telling is, it is completely intoxicated. Intoxicated means so much of beautiful flowers. So they go and they, what do you say that? They extract the honey by putting their strings, and they pull out the honey, and they become so much intoxicated, like how a person after taking liquor, he becomes intoxicated and he talks so many nonsense, right? So similarly, the bees, after drinking that tasteful honey, they give a sound which is like different ragas. When the musician is asked to sing, how he is trying with the different ragas to find out. So similarly, this honeybee sound in that particular place, so many honeybees have taken that honey, and they are all giving the sound, and which looks like a different ragas and different notes. And somebody is trying to improve their modulation, somebody is trying to improve their particular tune. So many things are happening, right? So in that way, this is that vimurshitam. Vimurshitam means the bees are giving a sound so that it is not a systematically you are hearing the same sound together. It gives the modulation, ups and downs, different tunes, different sounds are coming. So Kailasha is filled with that type of sound. And the cuckoos and the birds, Plavitau. Plavitau means the cuckoos and birds are giving a long sound. When they are giving, continuously they are giving the sound. So just to imagine there, one side peacock is talking, that sound is coming there. One side the bees, after drinking the honey, is so many bees are there. It's not a single bee, so many bees are there, and it is making a noise. And then cuckoos and other birds are giving. So wonderful sound. Kailash is not where you feel it is a mode of ignorance place. We not to think about, there is nothing, people are silent, nothing like that. So many things are happening there. And this Kailasha is like that. That is what the explanation given in this verse. So let us go to verse number 13. Ahvayantam ivo dashtair dvijam kama duhair drumaiha vrajantam iva mathangair granantam iva nirjarai.
Hare Krishna. Sharmila Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are tall trees with straight branches that appear to the call of sweet birds, and when herds of elephants pass through the hills, it appears that the Kailasa hill moves with them. When the waterfalls resound, it appears that Kailasa hill does also. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So the Kailasha, so Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing about the Kailasha. It is the desire trees, all the trees in the Kailasha, it is like a desire tree. So desire tree, generally we talk about, it is like in the Krishna Loka, right? When we go to the abode of Lord Narayan, you get the desire tree. So you don't have to work, you don't have to cook, you don't have to go to the market to buy the vegetables. All you go and tell the desire tree, everything is fulfilled. That is what we understand from so many scriptures. So similarly, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing, the trees are such a tall trees like a desire tree, and which is touching the skies. It means from there, it goes so much of tall. And it is calling every birds, come, 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 take my tree as your resting place. You can come and stay in this tree as a guest. So that is the description of the trees in the Kailasha, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing. And similarly, when the elephants inside the Kailasha, when it is moving like that, it looks like biggest mountain. So the size of the elephant, so whatever elephant we are seeing here, it looks like small for us when we are comparing what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing here. It is like a big mountain is moving from one place to another. And similarly, the waterfall from that big hills, and the waterfall, when it is coming, the sound is as if the waterfall is calling, come, come, come to Kailasha, come and see the beauty of the Kailasha, come and enjoy. So that is the description of Kailasha. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing for this particular verse. Then we will go to the last two set of slokas, 14 and 15. Mandarai parijatascha Sharalaishchopashobitam Tamalai Shala Talaischa Govita Arashana Arjunai Chutai Kadampair Nipaischa Naga Punnaga Champakai Patala Ashoka Bakulai Kuntai Kurabakair Api.
Hare Krishna. Anita Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, if you have not read, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Hare
No,
Krishna.
Mataji, I read Mataji. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Anita Mataji, you can read the translation then. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The whole of Kailasha hill is decorated with various kinds of trees, of which the following names may be mentioned: Mandara, Parijata, Sarala, Tamala, Tala, Povidara, Asana, Arjuna, Amra Jati, Mango, Kadamba, Duli, Kadamba, Naga, Punnaga, Champaka, Patala, Ashoka, Bakula, Kunda, and Kurabaka. The entire hill is decorated with such trees which produce flowers with fragrant aromas.
So this is the description of the Kailasha hill and what are all the trees are available and all. So many things we have seen from the Kailasha. Basically, most of the things they are written about Kailasha. So now let us try to understand about this set of verses, and what is that we are understanding from these verses is Kailasha hill. We have seen that Kailasha hill, how it is explained, all those things we have known. So greatness of Lord Shiva, because the things are now everything is centered with Shiva, Lord Shiva, right? So what is the greatness of Shiva? We need to try to understand, and what Prabhupada and what the scriptures are writing about Lord Shiva. So the Shiva means one who purifies all the sinful activities. So he is the person who is known as who purifies all our sinful activities. So that is a greatness, because he is one of the greatest soul among the living entities. That is what in the material world concept, when we take it, he is one of the greatest living, and he is a very auspicious person. Auspicious means he gives only good things for the people. And person who is identifying the body with the soul. So Shiva is very auspicious for persons who identify the body with the soul. So you got the point for that. Like auspiciousness, those persons who are praying to Lord Vishnu cannot consider Shiva as an auspicious. So a person who is identifying the body with the soul, that means this is where we need to understand the tamoguna, that mode of ignorance. So only those people who are in that type of offering prayers, if they take shelter of Lord Shiva, so gradually they will understand that they are not the material body and they are spiritual soul. So he helps people to understand about. So that is what many acharyas are writing. Unless you become a Shiva devotee in any of your previous lives, then nothing can be arranged so that you can move towards praying Lord Krishna. So at one point of time, definitely all these people, because it is a sort of an impoveration, right? We are improving our qualities from the ignorance, then you move into the passion, then you move into the sattvic guna, right? So we are moving ourselves, like how when we are doing the Ashtanga yoga practice, when we are talking about the yoga ladder, how we are taking it from the karma kanda to the bhakti yoga level. So similarly, the gunas also, it is impossible to get, very rarely, unless you have so much of pious deeds in your previous life, and unless you get such a great mercy from the Supreme Lord, you cannot have the quality of goodness from the birth itself. And it is there, but it is an exceptional cases. But we are talking about the general type of people. Like generally it happens is, so he is auspicious to those people. So why it is called auspicious is, unless they have some sort of a motivation or some sort of an encouragement, they will not become a God conscious persons, right? Once you wanted to become a God conscious, you need to have some sort of a motivation. So that motivation is given by Lord Shiva. So he is a Mangala. Then this Mangala makes Aham Brahmasmi, I am a Brahman. That means Brahman, to understand the Supreme Lord. So this realization is auspicious. So in that way, also Lord Shiva is considered as auspicious. So Shiva and Lord Shiva's devotees are gradually coming into the platform of spiritual identification. And also though he is doing such a job, such a responsibility, he is always in the meditation mode on the lotus feet of Vasudeva. And he always consider the Supreme Personality. He doesn't say he has been getting a very, very high level of responsibility, right? You are converting. It is like you are transforming the criminals into a valid person in the society, right? A jail officials, when the jail officials, they are treating criminals, all those people are in mode of ignorance, right? When they have made some crime, they are all in the mode of ignorance. So the supervisor, the superintendent of the jail is having the highest responsibility. When they come out from the jail, they need to become part of the society so that they should contribute to the society. When they come out, they should not again commit the same crime. So such a sinful activity, persons are getting transformed into performing a pious deeds, pious activities. So similarly, when we talk about Shiva, Shiva is, though he is responsible for ignorance, we should never consider him under a mode of ignorance person. He is the greatest Vaishnava. He is under the greatest Sattvic. So he always knows that only Lord Narayana, that is Lord Krishna, is the supreme. So when he is discussing this particular topic, when Parvati Devi and Shiva is talking, so when she is asking which is the greatest worship, that is the time he is telling Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Tatpulyam Rama Nama Varanane. So Rama, that is the Vishnu Tattva. Narayana is the Vishnu worship, is the greatest worship. So he knows that, and it is like how we told about, what do we say, the jail superintendent. It's a greatness. So when we are talking about the greatness of Lord Shiva, we all know that he is one of the Mahajans, right? Out of 12 Mahajans, Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Manu, Prahalada, Janako, Bhishmo, Balir, Vaya, Shakir, Vayam. This is particularly told by Yamaraj to Yamadutas. When Yamadutas were going to pick Ajamila and Vishnudutas appeared there, and they were so much of disappointed. What is that? This person has done so much of impious activities and he completely deserves to come to Yamaloka only. But unfortunately, Vishnudutas are stopping us. So when they come and represent this to their master, Yamaraj, so that is the time Yamaraj is telling. So what is the meaning of this one is Balir Vaya Shikir Vayam. Balir Vaya Shikir Maya means out of these 12%, we only know the principles, the religious principles of the Supreme Lord. Because for the Yamadutas, they were thinking that Ajamila has performed impious activities, so he deserved to be punished. Whereas Vishnudutas came and protected them, so they were confused totally. Our religious principles, what we learned, what we understood is those impious people to be punished. But how come they are doing it? So that is what here Yamaraja says, only we 12 people know the religious principles of the Supreme Lord. So the dharma of the Supreme Lord Krishna can be understood only by what is a dharma. The righteousness can be different for different persons. I think in one of the classes we explained, when Yudhishthira Maharaj is refusing to utter a lie, despite Lord Krishna says that you have to utter a lie, then only we can kill Dronacharya, but he is refusing. But he was thinking, this is my dharma. But Lord Krishna's dharma, only very few people can understand that this Lord Shiva, one of the 12 Mahajas, he is completely understanding about all those things. So he is in charge of material quality of ignorance, but he is completely keeping himself away from that ignorance and he is in a transcendental position. He is always meditates on Lord Vishnu, Krishna, so that he purifies himself and also he wanted to help others to get purified. So this is the greatness of Shiva. And the place where he is located, Kailasha. So if you're trying to understand where is Kailasha, it will be a little difficult for us to understand, but I'll just try to give some small thing what we are trying to understand through the scriptures when we are talking about the creation. Bhumandala. We all know that Bhumandala is, which is mentioned, the size of the Bhumandala is mentioned as 4 billion miles. The circumstances, what do you say that? The distance between everything is the Bhumandala, entire Bhumandala. And This is a single material world, that 14 planetary systems. When we are talking about the 14 planetary systems, that is the Bhumandala, where all the 14 planetary systems, we know that, right? So this Bhumandala is like a lotus flower. And in the lotus flower, we have 7 islands. That is the petals of the lotus, like whirl of the lotus, we say that. When we open that lotus flower, you can see different petals are coming, right? So there, one particular petal, lotus petal, the place is called Jambudvipa. So the Jambudvipa is in the middle of the lotus. In the Bhumandala, the Jambudvipa is in the middle. So there is a mountain called Sumeru. I think you people might have seen the creation table, creation photo and all. It goes like that. Then when we go there top, then that Sumeru, it looks like the Shivalinga's form, right? So the Sumeru is having hills on 8 directions. East, west, north, south, southeast, northeast, like that. 8 directions are there, right? In every directions, it is having two hills. So totally, one hill. So totally 8 hills are surrounded in that Sumeru, and different names are there for the hills. Let us not bother about all those things. In southern side of Sumeru, so just imagine, try to understand about the creation photo. On the southern side, you have 2 hills, and in one of the hills in the southern side is Kailasha. So Kailasha is from that particular point, it is 18,000 yojanas. 18,000 yojana means 2,000 yojana is 16,000 miles. So when we are putting 9 into 16 means it is something like 200,000 miles or something like that. The distance, the area of that particular mountain is called, and it is completely like a shining. When we put a gold there, so it looks like a shining mountain. So this Kailasha is like that. So whoever has gone to Kailasha, we got that opportunity. When we went to Kailasha, early morning when we visited Kailasha, when the sun was coming, it is a snow-filled mountain. Kailasha is a snow-filled mountain. So when the early morning sun comes, if you go out, it will be something like minus 20, minus 25 degrees. So you have to take a perfect austerity to go out and you have to see how it looks like. It will be looking like the molten gold. When the sunshine comes and hits on the top of the hill, completely snow-filled. It will be like a gold. Somebody is boiling the gold, and when they're pouring, how it looks like. So it will be like a golden, molten gold. So that is what this is. When I read that and when I recollected how we saw that golden, so it is real. So really the golden color we can see there. Then subsequently, when the sun is becoming so like bright and bright and brighten, then it becomes a pure white snow it becomes. So that is what the Kailasha, the greatness of Kailasha. And the purport, we have seen so much of things they have written about the greatness of Kailasha. Then the greatest thing what we need to understand through this particular portion of verses is how to respect a Vaishnava and what is a Vaishnava aparat. Because here the aparat is at the feet of a great servant of the Supreme Lord, Lord Shiva. The Vaishnava aparat has been committed. So let us try to understand who is a Vaishnava. When we are talking about a Vaishnava, who is considered as a Vaishnava? Here we are talking about Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnava. So who is a Vaishnava? When we are talking about Vaishnava, Vishnur Ashya Devata iti Vaishnava. Vishnu Ashya Devata, that means they accepted Vishnu as supreme and he is as everything. So we have seen about Lord Shiva, he is always meditating on Vishnu, right? What he is meditating on? He should be meditating on somebody who is superior to him, not that he is going to meditate on his own name. No. When we are meditating, we need to get some power, right? Whether it is a siddhi or whether you want to get some extra power to you, you need to meditate on somebody who is superior to you. So when Daksha is getting agitated is because Shiva is meditating on somebody, that somebody is Vishnu. So a Vaishnava is one who is accepting Lord Vishnu as the superior. So in that way, the Sarva Dharman Parigdecha Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, one who is surrendering completely, he doesn't have his own concocted ideas. I have to follow like this. When the Shastra says something, this is my understanding. No, nothing like that. You need to completely surrender to the Supreme Lord. So a Vaishnava, great quality is, that is a Vaishnava. So this is the Vaishnava philosophical school. When we are talking about ISKCON, and when we are telling about we are all devotees of Lord Krishna, that means we wanted to worship God as He is. We don't get anything. No, I wanted to give a different form to Krishna. I wanted to give different qualities to Krishna. I wanted to put myself in a very comfortable zone. It is not like that. You have to accept Krishna as He is. That is telling Dharma, whatever righteous path He says, a devotee has to accept it. Arjuna, in the initial time when we read Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter and few slokas in the second chapter, we understood that he is having his own concepts. He is having his own reservations. He is giving his own philosophy. So many things he is giving. He is not in a position to accept what the righteousness for Krishna is to establish the Dharma. He is not in a position to accept that fact. He is prepared to forgive everything. He is prepared to leave everything for the sake of not to establish the righteousness. So complete surrender is the mood of the Vaishnava. The Mayava, the philosophy is, what is that is, they are looking for Sahyajya Mukti. Sahyajya Mukti means they have a different concept of understanding the Supreme Lord. But we have to understand that we have to eternally serve the Supreme Lord. That is a Vaishnava philosophy. You need to consider yourself as a servant. The servitude we are telling, right? Servant, and we need to completely surrender, and whatever he instructs, we need to obey. Mayavadis, by merging, they feel that they also become the supreme, right? So a Vaishnava is, the qualities of a Vaishnava should, by principle, he needs to satisfy the Lord by all means. Whatever you are doing, that has to be given satisfied feeling to the Supreme Lord. And the Vaishnava by nature is a non-violent, peaceful living being. He wanted to always ensure that Shanti should be available everywhere. So these are all the qualities of the Supreme Lord. Once you become a Vaishnava, you are imbibing with the qualities of the Supreme Lord. Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva we are telling, right? So we take the qualities of the Supreme Lord. That is why we are calling it as a Vaishnava. When you don't take the qualities of the Supreme Lord and you make your own qualities, that means it's something like a non-devotee. You don't tolerate for a smallest insult also. Then you agitate, you revolt. That means you are not a Vaishnava. You have never developed any such quality. So a quality of the Supreme Lord is imbibed in Vaishnava means then when you become the devotee, automatically you are imbibing and automatically you need to exhibit those qualities. Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami, when he is writing, so he is giving some 26 qualities. So many qualities he is describing. Krishnadasa Kaviraja, he should be very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone his enemy. We will take only few qualities which are matching with Lord Shiva. And he is truthful, and he is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is always clean here means don't think that externally he looks very ugly. The clean what he is telling is not an exterior cleanliness. Krishnadas Kaviraj is not talking. You need to clean means your spirit soul, your Atma. Being a Jivatma, you need to be clean without any lust, without any anger, without any greed. You put all the things which will exactly match for Shiva. He was never lusty. He was never greed. He was never wanted to possess so many things. He was living a very, very, very simple life. But all his devotees, Ashutosh, he is known as Ashutosh, means despite he is living in such a, maybe in your material conception, he is in a poverty state, but he makes his devotees super rich. Those who are offering anything to Shiva, they become super rich. So that is the quality of the greatness of Lord Shiva. And he is always surrendered to Krishna. He is telling one of the qualities is he is always surrendered to Krishna. So all these qualities are matching. So these qualities he is mentioning, and we can give a smallest example, like in the Bhagavatam, how Indradev and had a problem. He was what do we say? Indradev, we all know that a materialistically puffed up person. Once happened, he has to kill his own spiritual master, Brihaspati. He has killed, and he has taken the Brahmahati dosha. So in order to come out from the Brahmahati dosha, he was advised that Vritrasura has come. I'm not going so detailed into that story and all. So he has to kill Vritrasura because he killed his spiritual master. The spiritual master's father performed a yajna, and from there Vritrasura has appeared, and Vritrasura is none other than Chitraketu in the previous life. So this Vritrasura and Indradeva, they were fighting, and that is the time Brahmadev got an instruction from Vishnu that in order to eliminate Vritrasura, they need to use a special weapon from the bone of Dadichi sage. So Dadichi sage, when they approached, these demigods, when they approached, he immediately accepted. So the Vaishnava qualities were exhibited by Dadichi. He says, I don't want to possess anything. I wanted to be kind with everyone. I wanted to be useful with everyone. All the qualities which Krishnadas Kaviraj just mentions, it is exactly fitting into that great Vaishnava, Dadichi Muni. So Dadichi Muni, from there, they take the bone, the Vajrayita was made, and through that Vajrayita, Vritrasura was killed. So these are all some examples of the great Vaishnavas. And our great Lord Shiva, Vaishnavam yato sambho, Nimna ganam yata ganga devanam achyuta yato, Vaishnavanam yata shambhu purananam itam tata. So he is always holding Ganges in the head, and he is always in the purified. So many people with the impious, contaminated thing, they go to Ganges and they take bath and they wanted to purify themselves. Here, Lord Shiva is holding the Ganges on his head, and he is always in a purified level. He is never contaminated person. So that is the greatness. When Ganga is greatest for all rivers, Vaishnavanam yatau sambho purananam itam tata. How Ganges, we are telling it's for purification, greatest of all rivers. And Achyuta, Lord Krishna, Narayana is supreme amongst all the gods. Similarly, Lord Shambho is, Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam yata sambho purananam itam tata. So these are all some of the glorifications which Shiva has been given. And all these things, which is exhibiting about the greatness of Shiva, and such a great Vaishnava he is. So these are all the qualities of a Vaishnava, not to get agitated for anything and all. So we need to take some lessons from this particular portions, that how we have to exhibit our Vaishnava qualities. So last, when we are coming about Vaishnava Aparad, because as a devotees, we all need to understand what is a Vaishnava Aparad. Aparad means we all know that it is an offense. Offense means you are committing something which is not liked, which is not prescribed, which is not recommended in the Shastras or by the Acharyas. So we perform a lot of offenses in our day-to-day life, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, we are committing so much of offenses. But as a devotee, as a practicing devotee, as an initiated devotee, what is it we need to understand is committing a Vaishnava aparad is considered as the worst offense. This offense, at any cost, it has to be stopped. It should not be performed because it completely spoils the devotional service. It becomes, the devotional service is completely cut. You cannot further progress. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is instructing Rupa Goswami, he is comparing a devotional service to a creeper. A creeper, when it goes, wanted to, in that particular portion, when we say that creeper portion, he says, as a devotee, your devotional service is comparing to a plant, a creeper, and this creeper has to develop, and it has to reach the Narayana Loka. That means Krishna Loka. It needs to go to the Vaikuntha Loka. So that should be the growth of your devotional service, which is comparing to a creeper. So do you think the creeper can easily grow to that height? Is it easy for us to perform the devotional service so easily? So he is comparing that to a garden. So how you have to protect the garden is you have to put so much of, barricades, so that you don't allow somebody to barge in, or you have to keep on cleaning the garden. So unwanted weeds are not coming out. You have to remove it. So these are all the things which we are developing, the qualities, all the qualities you have to remove and all. So when he's talking about that, the creeper has to grow means, in one of the things what he is telling is, this is the Vaishnava Aparad. He is talking about the Vaishnava Aparad. Whoever is committing the Vaishnava Aparad, this creeper of devotional service, cannot grow. So if one commits, that means the devotional service is completely checked. So the pure intelligence, the pure Krishna consciousness become polluted by material existence, Committing an offense is a material contamination. Your mind has completely polluted, corrupted. Then only your pure consciousness, because a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, if they are being offended by any of your actions, any of your words or something like that, then this cannot be atoned by any means. The only option is you have to go and beg for the pardon of the particular Vaishnava. We all know the story of Ambarish and all, right? So Ambarish, how Durvash Muni has committed an offense. Even Lord Narayana refused that I cannot do. So you have to go and take the forgiveness of the Vaishnava whom you offended. So a Vaishnava aparad, once you want to get an atonement for the Vaishnava aparad, is you have to go and you have to beg. So that is why here Brahmadev is very, very clearly telling, if at all you wanted all the devatas, they know that the only way for them is to take the forgiveness from the Supreme Person, that is the great Vaishnava, Lord Shiva, and that is the reason they are all coming. So similarly, even unconsciously, if somebody is doing it, when Raghugana, when he is traveling in that chariot, like 4 persons were carrying it, and one is the Jadabarada. So he has unintentionally, without knowing, accidentally he has insulted a great Vaishnava, Jadabarada. Then he realized and he immediately taken forgiveness from Jadabarada Muni, and then he was given the best of the best philosophy of spiritual enlightenment in his life. So all these great Vaishnavas, they have the qualities to forgive the people. So similarly, when all these devatas are going and they are going to approach and they are surrendering to Shiva and they are going to forgiveness, then subsequently all good things are going to happen to the devatas. So as a devotee, our thing is we need to be very, very careful not to perform any Vaishnava aparad, and we need to always glorify the Vaishnavas, like how Brahma is instructing the devatas and how he has glorified Shiva. Great qualities were explained. All the 7-8 verses which we saw, that is how great Shiva and how Kailash is very well explained in the Shastras. So with that understanding, we'll be ending our session today. So thank you very much. So if at all you wanted to have any doubts or anything we wanted to add, we will wait for some time.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a wonderful class. We have Padma Mataji. You can ask your question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams. I was just wondering, there's only one Kailash Parvat in the material world.
What you are seeing in Kailash, this is the material world, but what we spoken, the Kailash is near the Sumeru, it is the spiritual world.
Okay, maybe I got confused.
So what
So there's
material
only one
Kailash we are
Kailash.
seeing is near Everest and near China-Nepal border. That Kailash is our material Kailash.
Yeah.
See, like how you are having a Vrindavan, Mathura and all these things are replicated in the material world. So whatever is available in the
And that's why I was thinking, Prabhuji. That's why I want
that
to
Kailash,
clarification.
what we discussed in this particular verses is near Sumeru. That is what I spoke about Sumeru little.
Yeah. No, but there's one in material world also, right?
Yeah, very much Kailash.
Yes.
27,000 feet above sea level. So if you have to go there, you need to walk 54 miles. 3 days you have to walk. You need to keep climbing. You must have heard about Manasharovar River. Manasharovar River is the base. Base is not in the floor. Manasharovar River itself is 9,000 feet above the sea level. So you need to go. We had the opportunity in 2007. We went there around 17 years before we went there.
So fortunate, Prabhuji. So fortunate to have a look at it. A lot of people can't go there. They say it's very, very cold. A lot of snow and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I've also heard that nobody is till date being able to climb the Kailash, Is that true?
No, we have that inner parikrama, something called inner parikrama. You just imagine your shivaling. You have a shivaling in your home, right? So how the shivaling is there? A small a Meru portion is coming.
Correct.
Then on the Meru portion you have a small circle, right?
Yes.
When we do Abhishek and all, it comes there, right?
Yeah.
So the inner parikrama is you have to climb and you have to go in that way. So outer parikrama is overall. You keep your shivaling in a plate and you circumambulate the plate. That is called an outer parikrama. And you need to climb. So nails and all should be very big. It will grow very fast so that they catch that to balance. It is a typical hill. So they have to touch, they have to do like that. So they have to climb, and that is called the inner parikrama. People are doing it. But even outer parikrama itself is very, very, very difficult. Very difficult. Oxygen levels are very low, and we had a very tough time and all. Myself, my wife, my son, who was around 11 years, 11, 12 years, he was the youngest in that group when we went that time.
Hari bol. Thank you so much. Suma Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, in the 6th, 7th purport, it has been given like concocted occupational duties, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Occupation. So I did not get that, Prabhuji. Like I always have this doubt, Prabhuji. Like when Arjuna fought in the Kurukshetra war, just to please the Lord, as an order of the Lord, so he had to fight. That was his duty. So like that, we all do our nitya karmas every day. So I just wanted to why it becomes nishkama karma yoga, Prabhuji, when we do that, and when Arjuna did that fought for the sake of Krishna, it became bhakti yoga, no, Prabhuji, like bhakti. So I just wanted to know why it is like that.
So basically, when we are talking about occupational duty, prescribed duty, in other words, when we say prescribed duty, when we saw the society is divided into varnashrama dharma, right? So varna and ashrama. So when we take about the brahmanas, kshatriyas, shudras, vaishyas and sudras, similarly the brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha. So everybody has been defined with certain responsibilities. Now let us all call ourselves as Shudras only. So though maybe some of you may be initiated, some of you may be Brahmanically initiated may be there. Unless we have completely come out from the material responsibilities, going to the office, earning salaries and managing our family, still we are in Sudra only. So when we are in that particular ashram, then what is meant for that particular ashram, we have to do that. Now, let me give you an example. Considering we are all into a Shudra, we are in the Varna of a Shudra. So the Shudra responsibilities defined is they need to support, they need to like how a Vaishya and Sudra. So Sudra is physically they need to help the Brahmanas. So in our case, when we are in that particular stage, so how we have to do that is to help the servant of the Lord in spiritual service. So we need to engage ourselves in temple service, or we need to help in our congregation, we need to help in book distribution. So many things we can do that. Because still we have a responsibility to manage our family. So we are not completely engaged in the Brahmanical activities of associating ourselves in a temple. You become a pujari, you perform the daily boga, you prepare daily boga for the Lordship, you stay in the temple, you take the Bhagavatam classes. So all your activities, maybe 6-7 hours you are taking rest. Apart from that, your 16-17 hours, you need to completely dedicate towards the Supreme Lord's pleasure. So the occupational duty of you, based on your Varna, you have to do that. Since you quoted about Arjuna, Arjuna was a Kshatriya at that time, and he was refused. Being a Kshatriya, what is it? Is to protect, correct? Whether he is a good person or a bad person, a Kshatriya is to protect his country. Like how in the modern day, when we are telling an army soldier, his job is to protect the country, and when he refuses, he takes a long leave. He has enrolled himself into the army. Whenever any fight comes, he says, no, I will not go. He is taking absence or he is not performing, means he is away from the prescribed duty. So there, though the Lord's intention is to establish dharma, but initially Arjuna was refusing even to perform his prescribed duty being a soldier. He is refusing to fight. So we should not do like that. The prescribed duty based on our Varna, we need to parallelly perform the devotional service. But unfortunately, we are not able to perform full-time devotional service. Being a Shudra, what is defined in the Shastra for a Shudra or a Vaishya is to support the Brahmanas or support in the devotional service. So that should be our understanding.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If we fail to do that also, Prabhuji, in some if there are some restrictions in the family or something like that, can we, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ma manusmara yudhyacha, constantly thinking of the Lord and carrying out our, regular duties. Will that be bhakti, Prabhuji? I mean, I don't
It is
know.
not
Please tell me,
exactly. Of course, it is only a bhakti only, but the full, what do you say that? Full benefit of that particular bhakti will not be assigned to us. But Krishna is ensuring, because you are constantly remembering Krishna and doing that, but Krishna is ensuring that he arranges in such a way that you can keep continuing that bhakti even in your next lifetime also. Maybe due to some some circumstances, conditions in the family, you are not able to completely full-fledgedly, you cannot engage yourself. Maybe in some cases, I have seen non-vegetarian, other members will be eating it, and this devotee is finding it extremely difficult, but still he has to manage performing his duties, like devotional service he has to perform. So that is what Krishna says. You constantly meditate, whatever you are doing it, you just think about it. So Krishna will ensure, Krishna will give a mercy either to completely convert the family members or completely ensure the particular devotee gets full arrangement so that he can keep performing the devotional service continuously. Even if what is not happening in this lifetime, he guarantees that I'll ensure that this will be continued in your next lifetime. So that is the thing that's available.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, if time permits, I'll ask another doubt, Prabhuji, small doubt.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, Daksha had ego or hatred, Prabhuji, towards Lord Shiva?
Both he had.
Hare Krishna. Because
Both
ego, envy, sorry, Prabhuji, not envy, Prabhuji. When
That is what
when
I told. That is what I told. The first reason what acharyas are writing is enmity, because he was not able to digest the position of Lord Shiva. Then subsequently, I told puffed up because he wanted to achieve something materially. When Shiva, he was looking like that. He was looking like a beggar sitting there. So he just wanted to know how a son-in-law wanted to show off to his father-in-law that he is superior, something like that. So he had both the qualities.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your time.
Hare
And we
Krishna.
shall end the meeting with prayers, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha
kalpatarubhyascha
कृपासिन्धुभ्यः
Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaः
Namo
Guru
Dev
Bole
Vaishnava
Vrinda
Vrinda
ki
ki
Jai,
jai,
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Krishna
much,
to all
Prabhuji.
devotees.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam Prabhu. Thank you so much. I'll
Thank
end
you,
the meeting,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.